Sheffield Board of Selectmen to order for April 7th, 2025. First item on the agenda is approval of meeting minutes. Do you have any?
I don't believe so.
Let's skip them. Second item is approval and discussion regarding bridge inspection reports. Rhonda?
So what you have in front of you is the inspection report on the Randolph Road Bridge over the Suspended River. The inspection report was for 12/3/24.
12/3. We're getting them fast.
Okay, so, the superstructure, the channel protection were all rated as 7s. So the bridge is in fairly good condition. It'll be here if anybody wants to pick it up and read all the details, but there's pictures and everything that Mass DOT says, and it doesn't appear to be anything frightening or immediate that needs to take place.
It'd be nice if they had an assessment somewhere at the front that just sort of gave you that.
A management letter.
You really, an executive summary would be really helpful.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Any questions on that, gentlemen?
No, it looks like we've got one bridge working.
Item number 3, action regarding resignation from the Ashley Falls Historic District District Commission. We have a letter of resignation from Ann Dunn, saying it's been a great pleasure to serve under your outstanding
I swear to
leadership.
God, I did not ask you
I
to
cannot
write that
even
down.
believe I have to read that out loud. Accept a motion to accept her letter of resignation.
So moved. Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Could we please send a letter of recognition and thanking her, please?
And as an update, we put that in front of the Ashley Falls Village Improvement Society had a meeting on Saturday, and a couple of people might be putting their names forward, so hopefully we have some possibility
Wonderful.
there. Good.
Item number 4, discussion and action regarding the general bylaw for the Community Preservation Committee bylaw. So, Rhonda, I'm assuming you made the changes that we had discussed?
I did. A couple people had asked for copies. You do not have to hold a public hearing, you just have to take public comments tonight.
Okay. So, does anyone have any interest in making a comment on the Community Preservation Committee bylaw? Renee?
Good evening, Renee Wood, 98 Gorman Street. I just wanted to let you know that some of those changes that you made were, some of them in a central order.
No.
Not the ones from this afternoon at 4:16, but we can make that amendment.
Okay, so I just wanted to point out in section 1, establishment number 1, you are, unless that has been changed, you are setting up a conflict by having the Historic Commission or the Ashley Falls Historic Commission. Who's going to decide which one it is? Because it says the member who would be from that organization, as with all of the other, is designated by the commission, and you have 2 commissions listed.
Right.
I think frankly, this is my error, when I originally sent this draft of the bylaw to Rhonda. I think I forgot to put parentheses between the OR and the Ashley Falls Historic Commission, but you just need one, and the underlying legislation more speaks of the Historic Commission. Okay, so I just wanted to make that issue, otherwise.
I think we wanted to just open it up to more people who have an interest in the historic preservation of the community as a whole.
It was more saying at the Historical Commission, I think your parentheses is the idea that if the Historical Commission didn't appoint somebody, we could go to the AFHDC.
Yes, because it says as designated by the commission. You have 2 commissions, one making a decision. That means an issue.
And do you think your parentheticals are up?
If you wanted to say, one member of the Historic Commission or a member of the Ashley Falls Historic District as designated by the Historic Commission, then you only have one person making the appointment for potential to achieve your goal Nadine wanting to open it up to the two historic commissions. Somebody appointed because the commissions will be like this, because it's not clear who appoints. That means it's just not clear in your bylaw. The other thing is on point 5, one citizen member at large who does rather than do not.
Yes, you're correct, who does?
Brought that one or not, okay. And then the last one is on number 4. Keep records and report on CPC budget, not CPJ.
I'm sorry, could you give me that again?
I think number 4 should be report on the CPC budget.
CPC budget, okay. In the bold letter, CPC budget, okay. So can we try to resolve this number 1 item? Does anybody have a thought on how to simplify this process?
I think what she's suggesting, saying one member of the Historical Commission, then in parentheses, or a member of the Ashley Falls Historic District Commission, and parentheses, as designated by the Historic Commission.
Okay.
Will do it, right?
I think that's
Okay.
perfect. And that way, anybody who's interested can submit an interest and they can go from there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It expands our pool, but also says who's making the
Yeah.
determination.
Okay, so with those changes made, are there any other comments from the floor? Pat?
Thank you, Pat, for being with the 361 Main Street. My concern has to do with that virtually all but one individual is essentially named by the select board, because you approve the people who are on the committees, except for the planning board, which is elected. And only one other individual that is not somehow funneled through the select board. I would like to see personally the number of positions increased. 5 is, I know I was here for the discussion, you felt that anything too big is unwieldy, but I think 7 would not be out of order. A lot of different issues, different options of projects come through, having a lot of people to look at them, why it doesn't work. I think 5 is a very small number.
Well, when they're beating your door down to serve. Renee?
Renee Wood, I want to point out that the planning board member is elected.
Yep,
And the underlying legislation calls for these particular people, as written in state law, to be appointed. And the only place where the select board would have any room is with number 5.
well, what Pat is saying is that the members of the Conservation Commission and the Housing Commission are appointed by the Board of Selectmen.
Because it doesn't matter.
I agree with you.
In many places, those members are elected, but that's not the case in Sheffield.
Yep.
So it is not something that the select board is doing.
Right.
You are following the underlying legislation.
Pat is suggesting that if we increase the citizens at large,
Yes,
that would
you could do that.
that would give the select board less control, is what she's suggesting.
Again, this is not a matter of select board control.
You're right.
I am not aware of too many situations where the select board is flooded with applications to be on the historic commission or the conservation commission or the housing commission.
Yeah.
So generally, you only have 1 or 2 people at the most to choose from.
Thank you.
So this is a process,
Yeah.
because the select board will make a decision by our town charter. But that is the one area.
Thank you.
Pat, one of my concerns with 3, to just address that directly, would be, these people can't be in elected or appointed office anywhere else. And my one concern with 3 is, sadly, we have a hard time filling the places that we have. So to have to go outside of that pool of people, where a number of those people often sit on more than one commission or committee, all of a sudden we're probably maybe running dry, would be my one concern with more than one.
I think we live with it for now, and if if we get flooded with people who are interested in serving, this bylaw can always be adjusted to accommodate more people.
And something else that helps with CPA is that a certain amount of the money has to be appointed, or it has to be defined every year going out. So people are in a spot they're obliged to say yes to some extent to what's coming in front of them. And I think that the law was probably written that way in some ways to accommodate that the sides weren't holding territory or having an ulterior motive beyond that,
Right.
right?
The difference also is the cultural commission, which gives away money and has lots of applicants for
Right.
its positions. This is going to be similar to that. You're going to have the privilege and pleasure of helping determine where money is going to be directed.
Thank you. Catherine?
Catherine Miller, 801 Clayton Road. Just a suggestion, so you don't have to change the bylaw again. Could you not, I don't have it in front of me, so I'm not able to give you the proper. Couldn't you say something to the effect, up to a total of 7 or something, which would give you the flexibility to increase it from 5 to 7, if
How do you feel about that, gentlemen?
I don't have a problem.
I don't think that's a bad alternative, and it means that we can accommodate people if they're interested, but if we don't, we're not sitting with a not fully appointed
Okay,
board.
so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 that are required, so we could say 1 to 3 citizens at large.
you could say up to, so that you're not forced to have.
Of course, they're appointed by the select board, so on an odd level, it's moot, but I think it's nice to have that option. I think that is true, the cultural commission.
Yeah, maybe we'll get
People love
lucky.
sitting on, because this is one of the boards that's probably fun to sit on. You get to give away funds, right?
Yeah, fun.
So do we need an amendment? Or we're not approving this tonight?
I think we are approving it tonight, so I just.
With
so-
the changes.
So the change should be 1 to 3 citizen members at large, up to
And-
1, yeah, I would
We
say,
go back to who do not hold.
yes, who do
Yeah,
not
so
hold
that
an
was right.
elected position.
And then we have the other two
Yeah,
changes.
so get rid of the does and go back to do, because now it's plural. Ay, 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 ay.
I make a motion that we move forward with these regulations and this general bylaw as written with the amendments made.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion or comments from the audience? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Aye.
Okay, item number 5, discussion and action regarding memorandum of understanding for tobacco.
So I asked that this be put back on the agenda. I voted against it earlier at a previous meeting because I didn't have a good feeling of the entities that were involved and the reasoning behind it. After further investigation, I have found that and had people from town that have experience with this nonprofit organization. And I've been reassured that it is legitimate and very good at what they do. And the only other thing that I did not realize at the time is to keep our Board of Health in compliance with the state. This has to be accomplished, and therefore I would like to bring this back up for a vote.
Making a motion.
I'm making a motion.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
No. I think there's a way of handling things in town without having to be the strong arm of the law. That's my comment on that. Item number 6, discussion and action regarding dedication of a bench in Ashley Falls Village Green. Rhonda, can you bring us up to speed on this?
So we received an email asking if the Village Improvement Society could dedicate a bench to a resident in Ashley Falls. They have since updated that to do a second request for a second resident. So there would be 2 benches, 2 dedicated benches, if the board was willing to approve the request.
Gentlemen?
What was the second request?
Joan Brooks
Joan
Oh,
Brooks
Joan Brooks.
and Amal
and
Jamal.
Mr. Jamal.
And I know Mr. Small, yep.
The Joan Brooks apparently that people had asked for it many years ago. And Brian can probably step up for Village Improvement Society and give the history, I guess. I don't think it's highly controversial, but
Great people and,
Yeah, they came over for Christmas or Saturday evening.
Name and address.
Yeah, Brian, he comes to school. They came up to the meeting on Saturday, they said, oh, the person on the side of the first, the president, like the agent. That somebody donated $1,000 to put towards the bench and take care of the green, and it was specifically for Joe Rose, so we just needed to fold that into our request. No more benches, so you won't be seeing.
I was just gonna ask you, how many benches is the green gonna
That's it,
hold?
we're out of benches, so everyone's got to stay aligned and. But yeah, thanks for your time.
excellent. I'll make a motion that we approve the dedication for the.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Discussion and action regarding Memorial Day Parade permit for Sheffield. We have a letter of request from the Sheffield American Legion requesting a parade permit for Monday, May 26th. The parade will start at approximately 11 a.m. on Berkshire School Road near the police department. Participation of the select board and administrator would be appreciated. Are we in favor of granting such a permit?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, George. Discussion regarding roadside cleanup. I'm losing track of my papers here. Rhonda?
So in front of you have a flyer for Sheffield's Super Roadside Clean Sweep. It's going to take place on Saturday, April 19th, 9 a.m. to 2. You can get a cookie for energy along with a yellow bag that you can pick up at 98 Berkshire School Road, or you can bring your own. This year, it's being sponsored by the town, and there's also one in Ashley Falls is also included in this. We're sponsoring it, the town is sponsoring it because we can get points through DEP that'll give us more funds to put towards maintaining our transfer station. So it was one of the things that Renee had worked on and figured out that we could get a point if we sponsored, so.
Sounds like a great idea. Someone like to make a motion to allow such a thing to happen?
I'll make a motion that we support the roadside cleanup.
I'm gonna second that.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Let's keep those roadsides clean. Okay, item number 9, update on the town administrator position. The board met today to determine that we're going back out to advertise again. We will do that after the town meeting in May. Either of you want to make a comment on that?
No,
Okay.
unless anyone has anything.
Very good. Board member items.
I'm good.
I'm fine too. There's a letter here. Where are we supposed to
I'll
respond?
bring that up under mine.
Oh,
Okay.
did I miss it? I was going to send it on the agenda. Are you making the cookies?
No.
Just checking.
It would be good.
Rhonda, town administrator
It should be a
items.
trash cookie. That's what it should have. Everything in the world in it.
Oh, well, you should make some. So what you have in front of you is a letter of support for the Sheffield Historical Society. They have decided that they would also like to apply for the grant that we supported in Alford. It's the MA 250 grant application. So this was submitted by Renee today. So I will put it on the next agenda for ratification, but they need to have this letter of support approved, if you're so willing, tonight, because the deadline is Friday.
So moved.
Seconded. And for discussion, so would we be doing an additional pamphlet? Yes. I thought they were doing something for the region sort of broadly, so that's my only question.
Renee Wood, again, thank you for taking this up this evening. The Historical Society was, I think, so taken with the offered application that you sent a letter of supporting on, that they decided just very, very recently that what they wanted to do was apply for up to 50 signs that would be primarily in Sheffield, but would go to those other towns that were also in the Alford application, kind of piggybacking on that application. And that those signs would be readable for someone who is in a car, or walking, or on a bicycle tour. And they would speak of places, again, primarily here in Sheffield, where important events took place, or particular places that had importance in those events, or particular people. So while I do not know the full extent of the Historical Society's plans, from what I understand, there'd probably be a placard regarding the Sheffield Resolves. There would probably be a placard regarding the Ashley House, and among that, we have the statue and the Sedgwick House, because that's where she went to receive her freedom finally at Great Barrington Town Hall. So it's really to kind of, I think, expand on the pamphlet, but make it so that if nobody even has the pamphlet, these are signs that will point out, you know, the rich history that primarily Sheffield had in the Revolutionary War. So that is what that is about. There is no fee or cost to the town. They just need another letter of support. And if you thought it would be best if that would come from the select board, because it carries a lot of weight.
And Renee, just one question. And so those signs will be at the buildings, on the roadside? I guess I'm not
Are they lawn signs? Are they gonna be,
like what it is
No, I
exactly.
think there's a little bit more work to do on that.
okay,
But Paul couldn't make it tonight, but it's my understanding, the property owner will, with their permission, of course, it will be readable. So it's probably going to be at least the size of a campaign sign. I do not know if it's so that you could read it if you're in a car, okay? I don't know the material that's going to be involved, but it is hoped that these materials will last beyond this year and next year, so that if the homeowner or the owner of the property wanted to keep it up, they could keep it in place.
so I have seen these historical signs everywhere because I always look for them when I travel. And they're usually on a very tall pole, and they're quite a good size that have a little bit of history written on them, but that's not what you're
No, that's
suggesting.
my understanding that is not the case. Or there's a rock that has a bronze plaque I
Yeah.
goes to when I travel. That is not my understanding. These are not going to be something that, from what I understand, is going to be, look awful or be totally obtrusive or anything like that.
Well, it sounds like it's temporary.
It's what?
Temporary.
It is, the celebration goes through the end of 26, all right? So that may make it temporary. The homeowner may decide, or the owner of that land may decide that they want to keep it. But I think, and again, I wish I had exact information
Yeah.
for you, it will be removed.
Okay. How do you feel? Confused?
I'm a little puzzled by
If I
it.
could add something more, because I don't have all the information that you're requesting. If you were in mind to approve this letter, I don't believe there would be any problem with any conditions that you wanted to make known to the Sheffield Historical Society in implementing this grant.
I'm just having a really hard time moving forward, approving something that I don't really know what I'm being asked to approve. I certainly want to support the historical societies wanting to be involved in this
So
project, but
I wonder if we could work out the following, because I know the time frame on this is short, like this Friday. I wonder if you would take a moment and tell me what questions you would like to know the answers to. I will send those to Paul O'Brien tonight. If you wish to give Rhonda the authority to sign this after you all have had a chance to review the conditions that they meet. I don't know, I'm just trying to figure out something. But I can have this to you, because I don't think you're going to meet again.
Well, we have a finance committee meeting on Wednesday, but
We do
that's,
have a finance committee meeting on Wednesday, and I suppose it could be on our agenda for that, if we could get some additional information.
What would you like to know? Height?
Yeah, what the plan is, what's the material, is it a permanent sign, is it a lawn sign with 2 metal sticks? I mean, what's it gonna look like?
is it sitting on the right of way? Is it sitting up against the house? Just a little bit of
The
context.
the specifics
you know.
about what the sign is and how long it intends to be there.
Appearance of the sign.
Because if it's a campaign-looking sign, it's not gonna be very attractive in a very short order of time.
Some examples of where it could be placed. I will tell you that everything the Sheffield Historical Society does is strong.
I know that, but it's hard to approve something that you don't really know what it is.
Okay.
But we're happy to support them, we just wanna know what the plan really is.
Thank you very much.
Am I right on that? We're happy to support them, we just want more
Very much
information.
so, and I would
Okay.
assume that the historical commission would.
Yeah, these last minute things are very challenging. Ron, did you have anything else for us? Nothing else?
Yeah.
Okay. Public comment? Just a minute, George is first. Jeez, this is a big race tonight.
On behalf of the American Legion, I want to thank you for the great event. Couple of comments. At the American Legion Hall on Hooker Road, there's a maple tree that's shedding terribly. It needs to come down. It's the most western one on the side of the road, Hooker Road, on the Legion side. Last town administrator told members that it was the town's responsibility to take care of the trees.
Okay, we'll take a look at it, George.
Pardon?
We'll take a look at it.
Okay. And the other thing, the members of the United Methodist Church in Ashley Falls would like to know how a building permit was issued for the property next to them when the property lines have not been finalized. They're still in dispute.
Building permits are not the select board's purview.
You pointed them.
We did not approve the building permit.
Well, I know, I'm just curious. If you find out, when I try to get a hold of them, I can't get a hold of Paul Green for London.
Okay, thank you. Kathy, I think you were next. Sorry, Renee.
That's okay.
Up and down, up and down.
Catherine Orlando, Sheffield Land Trust, and I just wanted to come and give you guys a heads up that the Land Trust is working with the trustees of reservations to put a conservation restriction on some land as part of the Cooper Hill Conservation Area. That's a requirement for a state grant. It's going to be over 86 acres that was owned formerly by the Rand family. The trustees now own it, and it's just a requirement from the state for the protection. So we'll probably be bringing that to you sometime in May, and then we come back in June for your signatures. But I just wanted to give you guys a heads up and see if there were any questions you had that we should be getting information to you ahead of time when we provide you with the maps and everything else, just so that we know if there's anything additional that we should be including.
I don't have any questions at the moment, but we may come up with something. We'll have Rhonda shoot you a message if we
Yeah.
have something else.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
You bet.
I just wanted to show the poster for the Ashley Falls cleanup. Actually, it's a trash hunt. Road cleanup. They always have to do something special. And then your
It's Easter
location
Saturday.
is at the Ashley Falls Woods, the junction of 7A and School Street. And you're invited to join them on Saturday, this coming Saturday, 2 Saturdays, the 19th at 9 a.m. And you're invited to bring your gloves and a friend.
I believe they've also said you can bring bunny ears since it's the night before Easter as well.
Yes, 35 years, terrific.
Anyone else? Susan?
Susan Butler, Sheffield. From 2019 to early 2023, my commitments are attempted to have the Conservation Commission submit a proposed set of scenic mountain act rules and regulations to the select board. In February 2023, the land board joined forces with Martin. This resulted in the Conservation Commission passing a set of proposed rules and submitting them to the select board for approval on July 10, 2023. For the next 12 months, the commission works on revising their proposed rules due to public input pushback. In June 2024, the commission was considering hiring Shep Evans to establish mountain regions and possibly altering the text of the 2023 rules. To the best of my knowledge, and for reasons not made known to the public, the commission has not conducted any more discussion on this subject. Because I believe that the subject will undoubtedly be discussed once again by the commission, but I just can't predict when, I would like to bring to your attention the following. 1. Any set of rules and regulations that the commission might propose and submit to the select board for approval may very well be in conflict with Massachusetts general law. 2. Any proposed set of rules that the commission might submit to the select board for approval that pertain to trees that are allowed to be cut down at a proposed house site located in a designated mountain region may be easily circumvented by the majority of those who own wooded parcels in a designated mountain region. Thus, I am attempting to give you a heads up on these two possible hiccups in order that you have an opportunity to investigate them on your own before the commission makes a decision to hire Shep Evans. I believe that the Sheffield taxpayers will find it helpful to know whether or not the Sheffield Select Board believes that the hiring of Shep is a good use of taxpayers' money or a waste of taxpayers' money, and why. This knowledge would allow the public to speak with the commission in a more informed manner about the wisdom of hiring Shep. I'm going to give you 4 more pages that will give you the details. I welcome any questions you may have tonight or in the future.
Renee?
For the record, the Sheffield Scenic
Thank you.
Mountain Act, which was a discussion, the point of Susan's discussion, was adopted by the voters, as we know, in 1975. There's been no action taken on that until the last few years, when the Conservation Commission, of which Martin itself was a member, and myself, when I became a member, worked on adopting rules and regulations. Those rules and regulations were adopted, and they do not come to the select board for their approval. They go to the state when it is all finished. However, nothing has moved forward, as Susan said, despite almost a year and a half of public hearings, at which Susan and others were very present to make their comments known about the map that goes with the scenic mountain rules and regulations. That map is one that the select board approves. And I know Bob was there several times, and I think you were there, Nadine, but I'm not positive.
It's not coming to my recollection.
What ended up happening is there was in fact no agreement that the Conservation Commission, when I was still on it, felt could be brought to the select board regarding the map, which really sets what areas of town are protected under the Scenic Mountain Act. At one of the, maybe the last 3 or 4 meetings I attended as a Conservation Commission member, which ended in June of '24, Don Ward and the board went along with him, felt that it might be better to take another approach to developing this map, which is going nowhere quickly, and keeping the regulations from going into effect, because they have no effect without something to apply to. It was decided that Shep Evans, who was the conservation agent, or was at that time in Great Barrington, who had approached it a different way than just saying 800 feet, 1,200 feet and above, would be asked to look into just looking at discrete elements of the mountain range and scenic resources in Sheffield. Don Ward was charged with talking with Shep and seeing if there would be a cost involved, etc. I think maybe 3 months ago, I asked if anything has happened, and nothing has happened. So as far as I know, there has been no action taken by the Conservation Commission to employ Shep Evans, though I may be out of date, and I apologize if I am. But at some point, something will come to the select board to map out the areas to which the regulations, which have been adopted and do not need to come to you for approval, will come to you, that is the map, for your approval. Until then,
Thank you.
it's in the hands of the Conservation Commission.
That's what I thought, that
And
this
it's
really
not
wasn't
seem to
in our
move
purview.
with any due speed.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Susan. We'll take your letter under advisement.
Oh, thank you.
You're
If
welcome.
you have any questions, bring me back.
We will.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
Anyone else? Take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.